It's okay if you also enjoyed mainstream albums from the likes of Lamb of God and Lorna Shore this month, but today we've got bigger fish to fry.
We have such sights to show you.
The first of my favorite metal albums from the month of October goes to Rip to Shreds with Jubian. Rip to Shreds, true to their name, is one of the most vicious death metal bands around in the modern death metal scene. Over the course of 2 albums, they've established themselves as a full speed ahead, no frills force to be reckoned with. And now with album number 3, it seems clear that they've only just begun tapping into their potential as they step up the dynamics. I was skeptical as to whether this band could carry a 10+ minute composition, but thanks to clever ups and downs as well as some powerful funeral doom melodies towards the end, I was pleasantly surprised. And these elements make Race Trader an easy standout as well amidst the usual fury of others like Split Apart by 5 Chariots and Harmonious Impiety. As a result, this is at once Rip to Shreds' most pummeling and accomplished album to date. Next up we have Parius with The Signal Heard Throughout Space. Regular viewers should know that Between the Buried and Me is one of my favorite bands, and if you share that love, you're going to want to check out this progressive metal masterpiece. Think the Coma Ecliptic meets Dream Theater and Devin Townsend. A full-on conceptual rock opera tailor-made for fans of Dune and The Foundation. Not to mention there's a wide variety on display here musically, from the very Mastodon-worthy chug of Contact to the funky, almost danceable slapped bass of Dimension Y, to the incredibly cathartic and explosive conclusion of The Human Molecule. Some out there might want more harsh vocals, but honestly their sparing use only makes moments like The Outer Limit all the more vicious. Parius just get better with every album.
You're goddamn right.
Then we have Cabal with Magno Interitus. While everyone else has been salivating for Pain Remains, it's the 3rd album from this Danish band I've been most looking forward to this month. True to their Scandinavian roots, Cabal have a much more bleak, blackened atmosphere to their sound that makes them one of the heaviest and most underrated bands in the genre. Songs are tighter than most, clocking in at around a lean and mean 3 minutes each while still brimming with infectious grooves. Likewise, the additional backing elements are more sparing and memorable song for song, each time offering a slightly different flavor. I particularly enjoy the electronic additions, as with the straight-up industrial sounds of Blood af Mit. Maybe not their best work, but dark, heavy, and perfect for the pit. Then we have Exhumed with To the Dead. Just in time for horror movie season, it's time for more gore-soaked death metal from one of the grimiest bands in the game. As much as I hate the reduced daylight and temperatures this time of year, there's nothing quite like turning off the lights with a good slasher and banging your head to music about rotting corpses. It's that good grindy shit with crazy blasts, D-beats for days, and some carcass riffs for good measure. Also, that bass tone is absolutely gnarly, and the vocals brutal as hell. It's nothing death metal fans haven't heard a million times before, and it's nowhere near my best of the year for the genre, but it's definitely nailing what it sets out to do. So yeah, if you like the raw tones of 90s era death metal, it's hard to go wrong with To the Dead. Next up is Counterparts with a eulogy for those still here. If you love the glory days of 2000s metalcore before Gent took over the genre, this is like the perfect love letter to that era. Hell, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm picking up on direct references like what mirrors might reflect versus Poison the Wells' My Mirror No Longer Reflects from the classic Opposite of December, whose opening track is also just a date.
And let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay?
Or a melodic guitar hook on Bound to the Burn that sounds strikingly similar to one from the Plot and Use Glad You're Gone. Whether it's intentional or not though, this is glorious music with a perfect balance of emotion and aggression. In just 34 minutes, Counterparts bring the best riffs and scream-along moments without an ounce of filler, the entire time transporting me back to days in high school listening to Shai Hulud, Under Oath, and Unearth. Bonus shout out to the new Boundaries album too. Then there's Dr. Acula with Dr. Acula. You know, for whatever reason, my first listen of this album didn't really yield much of a reaction, but by the time I circled back, I wanted to kick my past self in the dick for being a fucking poser.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Dr. Acula is a fun combo of deathcore and mathcore formed all the way back in 2005 that appropriately still bears that OG sound of other bands from that era like the Red Chord. This sixth album is the original lineup's triumphant return after many years, and it's a much-needed shakeup in a time where too many deathcore bands are starting to sound the same. Think if Every Time I Die made sweet, kinky love to Job for a Cowboy. Heavy, highly technical, and incredibly fun.
Which was the style at the time.
And then, like many of you have been, it's time to rave about Stormruler with Sacred Rites and Black Magick. This very Dissection-esque band really brings the riffs, mixing thrashy black metal with those 90s era Gothenburg melodeath melodies I love so much. A glorious mix of malevolent spellcasting and soaring frostbitten atmosphere. If you want black metal with hooks to perfectly complement spooky season, Stormruler's got you covered. I will say that I don't think this album needs to be an hour and 14 minutes, what with the interludes between every track and runtimes that could easily be cut in half. But then again, if you just want as much of a good thing as you can get, there's nothing I would point to as bad either. I just think albums like UADA's debut prove that you can get the same effect in a more focused way.
You're doing too much. Do less. Pop down.
Next is Psychonaut with Violate Consensus Reality. A lot of the songwriting and approach to riffing on this album remind me of Mastodon's best albums. And considering how I felt about their last two releases, I'm ready to welcome a new project to fulfill my taste for hard-hitting, sludge-infused progressive metal. If you're looking for a place to jump in, I'd particularly recommend All Your Gods Have Gone. Between the mathy drumming and those great hammer-on pull-off guitars, this is exactly what I've been looking for from this style, and really every song on this has so much to offer for an experience that is both head-bobbingly infectious and deeply contemplative. If you also enjoy the peak eras of Mastodon, Gojira, and Tool, definitely give this a spin. Then we have one of the deepest cuts here, maybe, with Renunciation and Autel Morte. This Moscow band is like the fiery collision of Revocation with Absu, sporting all the best features of technical death metal, melodeath, black metal, thrash metal, and everything in between. The riffs and drumming are absolutely insane. Fast, ferocious, but also with sort of a Vindir-esque melody to some of the guitars. Those even stealing the show for the incredible instrumental Hanlon's Razor. And at just 7 tracks, it's the perfect length to satisfy while leaving you ready to spin it all over again. And then my favorite album from October easily goes to Aeneon with Mnemosyne. From Psy to Enslaved, it's the avant-garde and progressive ends of the black metal spectrum I love the most, and this highly underrated Greek band can go toe-to-toe with the greats any day of the week. Aeneon have been absolutely crushing this genre, matching aggressive head-bobbing guitars and snarling prophetic vocals with wailing saxophone and Hammond organ since around 2006, with tracks like Cartesian Eye and Sinistry of Heartbeat sounding as if they're broadcast from Twin Peaks' otherworldly Red Room. The plotting bass, the eerie organ breaks, the Faith No More meets black metal sensibilities, all painstakingly crafted with an attention to detail that puts most other bands to shame. Seriously, these guys have had me hanging on every note since 2014's Extance, so if you enjoy this, I highly recommend also picking up that and Hypnosophy right fucking now. Y'all check out this playlist for more of my favorite albums of 2022 so far, and let me know down in the comments what were your favorites from October. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.